Hi, I'm Natalia Kaylin. If you are in your 50s, 60s, or 70s and have ever thought about downsizing or moving, this video will be very useful for you. I want to share my personal story of moving and downsizing, not just to tell it, but because I learned a few valuable lessons that nobody really talks about. And it's not about sorting through your closet or letting go of things you don't like anymore. You already know that part. These are the deeper lessons. Some of them are not what you expect. They only come when you actually go through the process of letting go and starting fresh. My husband and I lived in the same house for 25 years. We loved the house and our life there. But for at least last 10 of those years, we both had this quiet dream of living near the ocean, somewhere warmer, sunnier, and where palm trees grow. We kept waiting for the right timing because of work and because life was busy and we didn't want to move away from our friends. You know how it goes. When my husband retired, we finally decided it's now or never. We spent last few years searching and found that Virginia Beach had everything we wanted. It has miles of beaches, a subtropical climate, and yes, palm trees do grow here. The housing inventory was so low last couple of years. We decided to sell our house, move here, and rent until we find our new home. I wanted to experience what it's really like to live by the beach. So we rented a condo only a block away from the beach. On the first day, I went to the beach and I actually cried. I love being on the ocean, and there was this feeling of well-being and happiness that I always get when I am on a beach vacation. I suddenly realized this isn't a vacation. I am not going back. There were tears of joy that I finally made it here, and at the same time, a wave of sadness washed over me. I thought, why did I wait so long? I always wanted to live in a warm climate near the ocean. I could have done it years ago. So here is lesson 1. Do not postpone your dream, at least not as long as I did. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It might never come. Act on it now. It's never too late. I was 61 last year when I did it. You can do it too. We had lived in our house in Massachusetts for 25 years. So you can imagine we accumulated some stuff. I declutter and let go of things regularly. So I thought the move will be easy breezy. Guess what? It wasn't. 3 months before we put the house on the market, I was going through things and furniture, letting go of stuff. I probably let go of 1/3 of it. Yet I seriously underestimated the amount of our belongings and the time we needed to pack. 3 days before the movers came, we were working 16-hour days. It was intense. I am a very organized person, but I totally underestimated the amount of stuff and the time we needed to pack. The thing is, every item represents a piece of your life, and deciding what stays and what goes will inevitably slow you down. You can have movers pack it for you, of course, but we did it ourselves because I wanted to make sure we bring only things that matter and letting go of things that we don't want anymore. Lesson 2, you have more stuff than you think, and packing is going to take longer than you think. You can probably multiply the time you think it's going to take at least by 2. So we rented a furnished condo close to the beach while all our things stayed in storage. The condo was really nice, freshly remodeled. I just loved living there. For sure, I enjoyed some architectural details like these windows overlooking the park. The kitchen was large and I loved this greenish granite countertop. I walked on the beach a lot. It was a joy to watch dolphins come very close to the shore off-season. We could also walk from the house to the bay area with all the wildlife. Crabs and oysters, an osprey catching fish and flying with it over the bay. At first it felt a bit strange living without our furniture, our decor, our familiar things. But very soon I realized something. I didn't miss any of it. I loved my things, yet I didn't miss them. Well, I did bring with me a few of my favorite pots and pans and knives. But it was so good to live with less and also to try new different things. It was a good learning experience. I have learned a lot about what I liked and what I didn't. I always knew that our homes reflect back to us who we are. I wrote about it in my book, The Soulful Home Design Guide. But we inevitably change, and with time, our home doesn't reflect who we are anymore. It reflects who we were. That's when we start feeling stuck and uninspired. After living in a totally different new environment, I could clearly see that I am a different person now, and I like different things, different styles, and even different colors. My vision for our new home was changing too. So, lesson 3, give yourself a reset of some kind. When you strip away the familiar, you start hearing your own inner voice again. You rediscover what truly nourishes you now, not 5 or 10 years ago, but now. It might be a bit sensitive, but let me say this. As we age, many of us tend to hold on to the familiar rather than opening ourselves to new possibilities. What it does, it limits our growth and limits our vitality. If you feel stuck or uninspired, your vitality is low and creativity has stopped flowing, you need a reset. Life is too precious just to let it slip away without enjoying it by doing things automatically and not challenging ourselves. You need time and space to do a reset. That reset doesn't have to be a move. It could be a longer vacation, a meditation retreat, or even just changing your surroundings for a while. Stepping out of the familiar is what allows you to hear your soul's messages. I'm not saying that everyone should move or downsize, but this is one of the more powerful ways to start a new chapter. Change is invigorating. Staying stuck in the past slowly drains our vitality. When you step into something new, whether it's a home, a hobby, or a dream you've postponed, your energy shifts. You start noticing things again. You experience more joy. You feel more alive and sharp again. Lesson 4, newness creates joy, vigor, and growth. Science tells us that doing new things builds new neural pathways in your brain. It literally keeps your brain sharp. And yes, change brings challenges, but they provide opportunities for growth, don't they? Plus, discovering new restaurants, new shopping spots, new parks, and even driving on new roads and seeing new scenery is simply fun. Even if you are not going to move, create newness anyway. Start a new routine, redesign your house, at least move your furniture around. Don't let your budget stop you. There is always a room for improvement on any budget. Now back to my story. Because the housing market was tight, we ended up buying a house the same size as our previous house. So technically, we didn't downsize the square footage or number of rooms. The size still works well for us. But we did downsize our stuff, and that made all the difference. Now there is less furniture and items to take care of, more space and more freedom. I bought some new furniture, but I intend not to fill it all at once. We'll keep it with less for sure. I love the free space. So to me, downsizing wasn't about square footage. It's about letting go of what no longer fits so I can live more freely and fully. It's about creating a home and a life that reflects who you are today and bringing joy, vitality, and learning new things along the way. So I would say lesson 5, downsizing isn't about less square footage. It's about more life. If you are thinking about downsizing and moving, do not do it out of fear or obligation, but out of love for what's possible. and out of fulfilling your dream. Let your home, your surroundings, and your choices mirror who you are now and who you want to be, not who you used to be. Please let me know in the comments if you like this kind of content. And of course, I'd appreciate you clicking that like and subscribe buttons. I would love to hear your downsizing story. Please write. Much love. See you soon.